Now, after what's been a somewhat turbulent last few days for Lucasfilm and the Star Wars franchise, after Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, director of the announced Rey Jedi Order movie, made a comment about how it's about time a woman shaped the future of a galaxy far, far away, which rubbed some fans the wrong way given how many women over the years have already done that, as well as other comments made by her in the past, not related to Star Wars, that were dug up and, shall we say, caused some to be leery of her upcoming film. Anyway, whether by sheer coincidence or to get the fandom talking about something besides her, Lucasfilm today had two pretty major announcements. The first being that the Ahsoka series will be getting a second season, and that it will once again be helmed by Dave Filoni. No real surprise there, he did season 1. While his Mandoverse partner in crime, Jon Favreau, will be heading up a new movie called Grogu and the Mandalorian. Now, I'm not sure if that's just a working title or the final one, but obviously it'll be about those two characters. And beyond that information, not a whole lot was said or known right now about either one, other than the film will be going into production later this year, and that, according to the official announcement, this will be coming out along with the aforementioned Rey Jedi Order movie and the James Mangold Dawn of the Jedi movie and the Dave Filoni Mandoverse movie. They are not one and the same, if you were curious. Filoni will still be doing his film, and this one will be, again, brought to us by Favreau, though Filoni will be a producer on it, as will Kathleen Kennedy. Anyway, I'd then have to imagine that means we shouldn't expect a Mandalorian Season 4 anytime soon, that the rumors of Season 4 actually being a movie, that they turned out to be true. Unless, of course, and this is pure conjecture on my part, but it could be that a Season 4 of The Mandalorian is still in the works and will be made by someone else, someone besides Favreau, and that it'll feature Bo-Katan and or other Mandalorians instead of Din Djarin. That would certainly help explain why she was so prominent in Season 3, to the point many feel like the show became hers, because in a sense it was going to become hers. It could even be that, and this is just more conjecture, but they have talked about doing something like this before, but it could be that parts of Season 4 could be filmed in conjunction with the movie and still have Din Djarin and Grogu in it, just a little bit here and there, or as needed. Not that pretty much anybody can't technically be in the Mandalorian suit for filming, and that Pedro Pascal can't come in later to do the lines or to show his face a time or two. He was basically never on set for Season 3, as is. Though all that said, I'm going to assume Season 4 isn't happening anytime soon, though I highly doubt Lucasfilm and Disney would not continue what has been the flagship Star Wars series on Disney Plus at some point in the future. I mean, just the fact that this movie is getting made says how valuable those characters have been to them, that they are, without question, I think, the most popular and profitable new characters of the Disney Star Wars era. Now, as for my personal feelings about these announcements, well, I'd probably have been more excited for a Mando movie before Season 3 happened. Though now hearing this announcement, I think it kind of explains Season 3 even more. I think the idea to do a Grogu and Mando movie has been in place for quite a while now, and that one of the points of Season 3, not that technically the two reunited in Season 3, that actually happened in the Book of Boba Fett, but part of the point was to bring those two characters back together, Din and Grogu, I mean, because Disney wants this movie, like I was just saying. These are the two biggest and most profitable characters they've been able to create, so get them up there on the big screen and let's make some big money off of them, hopefully, if you're Disney. That said, I can't help but wonder if they maybe missed their window a bit with this one. I do wonder how many, especially the more casual fans or audience members, how many of them are still kind of captivated by these two characters and will be really excited for this? I mean, for them, what is going to make this any bigger or better than your average episode of The Mandalorian? And I'm not implying it won't have a larger budget and be a bigger adventure, but what about it will actually get people into the theater instead of waiting for it on Disney Plus, where they've grown accustomed to seeing these two characters? And speaking of that, though on the flip side of it, will this also be hampered by the fact that many people haven't seen these two characters on Disney Plus and won't want to go back and watch 3 seasons of a show, plus a couple episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, to get full enjoyment out of this upcoming movie? And I say full enjoyment because, of course, it'll be sold as not needing to have seen the show to enjoy it. But let's be real, it'll play off the show to some degree, and it'll take place in the larger Mandoverse story, or, yeah, people who have seen the show and want more from the Mandoverse, they're going to be disappointed. Though, honestly here, plenty of those who have never seen the show have, at the very least, heard of or seen Baby Yoda, and along with that Star Wars name, which, yeah, does still hold some weight, not as much as it may have once held, but a lot of people will probably be curious or interested enough to check this film out, regardless of if they've seen the show or not, because they've heard of quote-unquote Baby Yoda, and of course it's Star Wars still. And so I actually do think this is a rather smart move on Disney and Lucasfilm's part. I think this is your best and probably safest bet for the next Star Wars movie to come out. Which then means that, yeah, I think this will be out before the Rey movie, which is also set to go into production early this year. And currently, the next Star Wars film is scheduled to come out in May of 2026, followed by another one in December of 2026. And I'm guessing, assuming that release schedule holds up, that the Mando movie will be the next one to come out in May of 2026, and maybe even earlier than that, considering that date is still basically 2.5 years away. And I have a really hard time believing they'd want to put the Mandalorian series on hiatus for so long, though of course 2.5 years is about the time it's going to take to make the movie, so maybe not. But I mean, that would be 2.5 years to the film, which means how many more years would it be till the next season on Disney Plus? Unless, again, I'm somehow right and another season of The Mandalorian will come out before the movie and have at least some Din Djarin and Grogu in it, and then a lot more Bo-Katan and other Mandalorians. Though with a second season of the Ahsoka series also getting announced, meaning Dave Filoni will be working on that for a while, I guess that means there's no real rush here with the Mandoverse in general. I'm guessing this means the Dave Filoni movie is still a very long ways off if he's doing a whole other season of that show of the Ahsoka series first. And speaking of Ahsoka Season 2, well, after not exactly, shall we say, loving the first season, I'm honestly not super excited for this one. I think by far the best part of it had to be Baylan Skoll, and that was probably in large part because of the great performance by Ray Stevenson, who of course tragically passed away. So you're going to need to do a hell of a job recasting to keep that character as interesting as he was. Especially when, I'm sorry to say, none of the other characters, except for maybe Shin, really had me all that interested or vested in them. In fact, some of them, like Grand Admiral Thrawn, had me pretty irritated. I was not a fan of his portrayal, and they're going to need to do something to turn that around and to do something special to make me believe he's somehow going to be a real threat to the New Republic. Though I suppose the New Republic has been shown to be rather incompetent. So I guess it'll be two incompetent forces squaring off against each other. I can hardly wait for that. But anyway, yeah, I wish I was super excited for all this, and I'm certainly not saying there's no hope left in me at all, or no chance these two projects end up being something fantastic. But after a few, in my opinion, lackluster shows or seasons of shows in a row now for the Mandoverse, considering pretty much everything set in it since Season 2 of The Mandalorian has been kind of meh at best, I'm skeptical of the whole thing right now. I mean, the time period already had an uphill battle in front of it considering it leads into the sequels, so they really needed to consistently knock it out of the park, and they haven't. And though, again, I would love for this new movie to be fantastic. I'd love for Season 2 of the Ahsoka series to be much better than the first one, but I'm just past the point of giving them any sort of benefit of the doubt, and I need to see it before I'll ever believe they can get this thing on track again. Well, that's all I got for you this time. Now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell me what you think about these announcements. Are you excited for a Mando and Grogu movie? And what about Season 2 of the Ahsoka series? Are you excited for that? Or is maybe neither one doing it for you? Whatever the case may be, leave those comments below and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.